Now, it's no secret that I love RPGs and I take an immense pride in completing my games. However, me being human, there's only so much I could play at the same time. And it's impossible to play every game on the market. I'm sure you guys feel that to your core. But you know, hindsight is 2020. So I went and looked at my backlog and chose the ones that I want to conquer in 2024. A few disclaimers, this list is subject to change. So if I change my mind about wanting to beat this game or not, I could change it, though I'm not going to do it willy-nilly. I'm going to try to stick to the schedule. Number 2, some of these games on this list have a series that is really long. So if I don't tackle every game in that series, that is perfectly fine. Number 3, tell me what games you guys want to get into in 2024. I would love to hear it. So without further ado, let's get on to the video. Oh, by the way, hey, my name is Mandy from Mandyleeplays. In case you're new, I do RPG content and stuff like that, so stick around if you want to see more. The first game on this list is Chrono Trigger, a JRPG classic, and I am ashamed to say I've never played it. Mostly because I've been waiting for a Switch port, because they do have the sequel on the Switch. They just don't have Chrono Trigger, which boggles my mind to this day. I have a theory about that because I think they're going to remake Chrono Trigger for the Switch. So that was kind of why I've been holding back as well. But then I thought, it's 2024, I am done waiting, and I want to crack into Chrono Trigger this year. I have to pull the trigger, no pun intended, and actually play this gem. But mark my words, mark this video, mark this point, I'm going to play Chrono Trigger, the original, and then when I finish, they're going to announce a remake or remaster. That's happened to me so many times that if I play an original game, there's a 50% chance they're going to remaster it right after. So I said it here, if they remaster it, then my theory is correct. Anyways, considering the GOAT of all RPGs by many of my friends and other content creators, I am very ashamed when I have to say, no, I have not played Chrono Trigger, and I really do want to play it. But from what I've been hearing, the Steam Deck version is not the ideal version to play, and there's also a mobile version port, which I do not like playing on my phone at all. But then I thought, why don't I play the Nintendo DS version? But then, as that thought entered my head, my wallet gasped in terror because the Nintendo DS version is really expensive secondhand, because I'm not paying $120 for a DS game. There's a line I would not cross. So ultimately, I'm going to probably play the Steam version since it's the easiest version to get my hands on and the cheapest as well. So yeah, I am tired of waiting for this hypothetical remake, and I want to take the plunge in 2024. And I also want to see what the hype is about. Alright, next on this list is a game that has many games that I need to play, and it gets very daunting just thinking about it, but here we go. The next game series I want to tackle is the Trail series, also known as the Kiseki series. Now, this series is ongoing to this day, and it's not like Final Fantasy where you could play individuals at a time. No, you're going to want to start in the beginning because the stories do matter in the way you play them. It's kind of like Kingdom Hearts in a way. Some of them you really don't need to play the other games, but it's highly recommended that you do so you could get the context of the world, because the story and universe are literally in each and every game. And you're not going to understand certain characters or their motives or why people are at war if you haven't played the previous ones. Which on paper, I love. I love interweaving stories, and I always wondered, what if Final Fantasy had a connected story? But the negative part about this, it is not beginner friendly, because like I said, you're going to want to start with the first one, and all the games are scattered throughout different platforms as well. So it's a pretty daunting task when a new person just stumbles upon the series and then realizes how many games there are in the series. But I've heard from many RPG fans that the Kiseki series is well worth the price of admission and playing all the games because they're just so good. And while I don't think I'm going to get to the whole series in a year, I still want to make a little bit of a dent in the first few games. I know a fellow content creator, Brandon or Just the Gems, he did a video about the Trail series and how to get into it. And that video laid the blueprint of how I want to tackle the series. Now for this case, I want to try to beat Trails from Sky, Trails from Sky 2, and the third one, I forgot the name, because those are the first 3 games in the series, so I want to tackle the first 3. I'm a lore junkie, so I want to play in the chronology order. Now I was hesitant to really get into the series because it's really intimidating and it could just be a lot, but I'm just thinking if I go one at a time at my own pace, it would not be as intimidating. I really wish the Sky series was ported to the Switch. I mean, it's perfect for the Switch. I'm not sure why they haven't. A lot of, you know, development mumbo jumbo going on between Falcom, Exceed, and Nisa, but I'm just like, it's just a smart move. Put it on the console that prints money. I'm just saying. But I do have a Steam Deck and other ways to play it, so I'm not entirely stuck. I could still dive into the series. Now, I'm not gonna steamroll through the series because that's a one-way ticket to Burnout Town, and I don't want to burn out on a game, especially because I took the effort to play all of them back to back to back. So I'm gonna take my time with this series. And for any Kiseki fans out there that happen to be watching this video, let me know some good tips and tricks to get through the series. Next on the list is a series near and dear to me, and that is the Atelier series. Now, I haven't played all the Atelier games, oddly enough. I've only played the Mysterious Trilogy, which is Atelier Sophie, Atelier Furious, and Atelier Lady and Sewell. I also played the 3 Ryza games, Ryza 1, Ryza 2, and Ryza 3. They have titles I'm just not gonna say here because they're really long. I've also played Atelier Marie and Atelier Sophie 2, but I'm still missing a lot of the more older Atelier games. And that's where the Atelier Dusk trilogy comes into play. Now I know what you're thinking. Mandy forgot to play an Atelier game? Say it isn't so, but yeah, I still have some Atelier games I have to play. But in 2023, we got a whole bunch of Atelier games, so I was pretty busy with those. Anyways, the Dusk trilogy has Atelier Aisha, Atelier Esther and Logi, and Atelier Shali. Now Atelier Esther and Logi really stick out because it is the only game in the series where you could play as a male protagonist, which is pretty cool. Another thing to note is the Dusk trilogy has the time mechanic, so there's that, which I don't really mind, but I can understand why new players might not like that. And I love how the Dusk trilogy has a totally different atmosphere and aesthetic to the Mysterious trilogy, and I love the music of this game. It is totally different. It is very jazzy. Alright, I'm gonna stop talking about it because I'll be here forever. Alrighty, the next series I want to tackle is the Yakuza series. Now, it's been a while. I've played Yakuza 0 and Yakuza Kiwami 1, so yeah, I have a long ways to go. But I do love the Yakuza series, or Like a Dragon series. I don't know what they call it nowadays. The series has a cast of great characters, and just so you know, I love Majima. He is so chaotic, and you never know what that dude is going to do. And plus, any excuse for me to play those cabaret minigames, I'm all for it. Like really, they need to make a standalone cabaret club simulator. I would love that. And I really want to play Like a Dragon, or better known as Yakuza 7, because that is when the game makes a weird decision and goes from an action game to a full-blown RPG. Now, like I said before, I'm not gonna go through every game in this series one by one, back to back. Burnout Town is not a good place to be at. So I want to get the fire burning and finish Kiwami 1, get to Kiwami 2. And I've heard a lot of people say that Yakuza 3 is a hit and miss because they didn't remake those games. So you can see the older games inside 3, 4, and 5, I believe. And since you're so used to the remade versions of the game, it could be really jarring. So I don't know how I feel about that, but I do want to play every game. Next series on this list is Final Fantasy. I do want to get through some of my Final Fantasy games that I haven't played, like Final Fantasy Crisis Core, Final Fantasy 12, and maybe Final Fantasy 9. I want to at least get one of those completed for the year. Now, I do have individual games that I want to tackle in 2024 as well, like Persona 3 Reloaded, all the new releases coming out in 2024, like Peach Showtime. So there's a lot of individual games that I'm going to get into as well. It's not just all series. Now the next one is a series I've been wanting to get into, and I feel like, you know, this year might be the year. And that is Suikoden. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Sorry if I didn't. But lucky for me, I get an opportunity to play this game soon, because it seems like Konami is developing a remake to the first 2 games that were originally developed for the PlayStation 1. Don't you just love when game companies put an effort into re-releasing their back catalog? I just love it so much, especially nowadays when preserving a game is actually pretty difficult. Like, even some developers don't preserve their own games right. So the fact that remakes are a thing, I think is a good thing. It was originally announced in 2023, but then it was delayed to 2024. So this is the weird one on this list where I want to start the series, but it's not out yet. So I got plenty of time beforehand. Now that is it for the series that I want to get into in 2024. Like I said before, there are individual games that I'm going to get into as well, but this is just the big series that I want to tackle at least a bit. I'm not going to tackle every game in each series in 2024. I am not a mad woman. So that is it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, then hit that like button. And if you like my content and would love to see more, please hit that subscribe button. I would appreciate it. Please tell me what you guys are tackling in 2024, video game wise. I would love to hear it. You can find me on my socials in the description down below. I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of the day. And as always, play a good game. Peace.